Hello YouTube, Vlogging Eric's Rants here, and this week my video is about Cenk Yuger of the Young Turks versus the Armenian Genocide. From denial to acceptance. Yes, Cenk Yuger has come around and now accepts that the Armenian Genocide happened. And just before I begin, I want to point out that Cenk Yuger's show name, The Young Turks, was not intended to have any connection to the Turkish political movement that did the Armenian Genocide. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. So, first off, of course, we go all the way back to 1991, when Cenk Yuger was a senior management major from East Brunswick, New Jersey. He wrote an article called Historical Fact or Falsehood, and basically it was the first time that Cenk wrote about the Armenian Genocide. And of course, being a Republican and all that at the time, he was a denier. His denial of the Armenian Genocide continued into 1999 when he published a letter in Ceylon, once again denying the Armenian Genocide happened. Unfortunately, the letter's missing. I don't know what's happened to it. In more recent times, between 1999 and about 2016, Cenk has just flat out refused to talk about the Armenian Genocide. Next up is from 2009. While Cenk Yuger and Anna Kasparian were on RT, Anna mentioned the Armenian Genocide and Cenk didn't seem to raise any protests. Here's the clip.
All right, so let's get to this peace deal. How are you guys feeling about it right now? I mean, you guys have a very strong friendship. Maybe you guys were a little ahead of the game?
You know, they say that it's soccer diplomacy because the Turkish president went to Armenia to watch a soccer game. Now the Armenian president is thinking of coming to Turkey. But I think it was Young Turks diplomacy. What we did on YouTube and the internet. You know, we've had Armenian fans and Turkish fans of the show send in pictures of young Armenians and Turks holding a Turkish and Armenian flag together. And we've been bringing Armenians and Turks together for quite a number of years now. And I think it's partly, seriously, due to a younger generation of people saying enough is enough of fighting these old battles.
So, Anna, I have a question for you. There's a big Armenian population in the United States, and a lot of people are still angry about this deal. They're saying, you know, Turkey should have recognized the genocide that happened. How do you feel about that?
Well, I 100% agree with that. The Armenian diaspora in the United States and in Argentina and other countries, they're angry about this peace deal because of the fact that the protocols might not require the Turkish government to recognize the genocide. And a lot of people who aren't living in Armenia right now think that Armenia is getting the shorter end of the stick. But the fact of the matter is, Armenia needs to open up trade, or Turkey needs to open up trade for Armenia so its economy can prosper. So the Armenians in Armenia are thinking that this peace deal is a good idea. Armenians that aren't living in Armenia don't think it's a good idea because they're not living their situation.
So yeah, Cenk doesn't seem to raise any protests, so his mind seems to be starting to be changed about the Armenian Genocide. Now we move forward a year with this tweet from Anna Kasparian in response to a guy called Ani Sawaratsi. At Ani Sawaratsi, you're quite the investigative reporter. That op-ed is from 11 years ago. People change their political opinions all the time. So Cenk continues to avoid the Armenian Genocide stuff, as he did in his AMA in 2013 and other times in the more recent past. Then, in 2016, just before the 101st anniversary of the Armenian Genocide starting, Cenk issued this statement. Quote, "Today I rescind the statements I made in my Daily Pennsylvanian article from 1991 entitled Historical Fact or Falsehood. When I wrote that piece, I was a 21-year-old kid who had a lot of opinions that I have since changed. Back then I had many political positions that were not well researched. For example, back in those days I had held a pro-war rally for the Persian Gulf War. Anyone who knows me now knows that I am a very different person today. I also rescind the statements I made in a letter to the editor I wrote in 1999 on the same issue. Back then I had a very different perspective and there were many things that I did not give due weight. On the issue, I should have been far, far more respectful of so many people who had lost family members. Their pain is heart-wrenching and should be acknowledged by all. My mistake at the time was confusing myself for a scholar of history, which I most certainly am not. I don't want to make the same mistake again, so I'm going to refrain from commenting on the topic of the Armenian Genocide, which I do not know nearly enough about. Thank you for being patient with me on this issue, though I might not have always merited it. Cenk Yuger. Interesting. So he's now an agnostic. Well, guess what? Sometime in the year between then and now, Cenk came around to finally fully accepting the Armenian genocide and now accepts that it happens. Here's another clip.
Now, how is that for irony?
It could not be more ironic coming from the Turkish president. Funny that he considers that genocide. Anyway.
Okay, so.
And it is genocide, by the way, just to be clear, but he's a little bit of a hypocrite.
Yeah, they targeted an ethnic minority and marched them out of the country. What does that sound like? So look, I'm glad that Erdogan is trying to fight for the Rohingya Muslims, and we all should, to make sure that they are not treated in this brutal way. But the temerity of him to mention the word genocide when Turkey doesn't recognize the Armenian genocide, where an ethnic minority was targeted and driven out of the country, that's an irony too ridiculous for him to bring out.
So, now he accepts that the Armenian genocide happened. The story of Cenk Yuger's transition in regards to the Armenian genocide from a denier to an acceptor. I'd like to thank Rational Wiki for having one location for all of the references I needed for this video. Unfortunately, the letter in 1999, it's apparently on Salon, or at least it was. It's no longer viewable, but the rest of the references are. So, that is my video for this week. I hope you found it interesting. Please rate, comment, share and subscribe, and have a great day everyone.